Hey guys, how's it going? So today's video is a little bit different. Usually I don't do this kind of thing, where we talk about current events or something that's new, but something happened in the last day or two that really ruffled my feathers, and I was actually talking to one of my friends about this. Hey Christian, if you're watching, it's your fault that I'm making this video. But we were talking about this, and I got kind of animated in our chat about this topic. And it made me realize that maybe this is something I should share with you guys. So today we're going to talk about the new Fender Player II series. Specifically, we're going to talk about the Jaguar. Now, the Jaguar is one of those things, you either love them or you hate them, right? I'm the kind of guy who loves them. They happen to be my favorite Fender model. It's my favorite Fender trim or vibrato system, my favorite Fender switching system. It has my favorite Fender switch position, which is the rhythm circuit on a Jaguar. I love the scale length. I love the shape of the neck, the feeling of the fingerboard. I just like the Jaguar. I always have. And Fender's kind of been dragging their feet on giving us a good Jaguar model that ticks all the boxes. On this channel, we've reviewed two of them. One of them was the vintage modified Squire Jaguar, and the other one was the Player Jaguar. It was one that was new to me. I got a really good deal on it. Now I know why, because the Player 2 is out. Um, the Vintage Modified is probably one of the better Jaguars that you could buy, even now, used. It is one of the better ones, one of the best values. But Fender didn't really have a good answer for everybody else from like the Mexican range, what used to be called the Mexican Standard range. Of course, with something like a Stratocaster or a Telecaster, it has certain things about it that make it what it is, right? You have your six saddle bridge with either your six screws or your 2-point trim, three single coils or two single coils in a humbucker, one volume, two tones, a 5-way blade switch, and a rosewood or a maple fingerboard. And you're pretty much there for a Stratocaster. And that formula, what makes it a Stratocaster, exists at every price point. It exists at the debut, which is like $100, all the way up to like the custom shop American stuff. And a standard Mexican Strat is one of the most common guitars in the world, and it's a Strat in every way. You can't look at it and say it's not a Strat because X, Y, or Z, right? Box has been ticked on that, right? Telecaster, similar. You've got your ashtray pickup holder thing with the bridge on it. You either have a string through or you have a hardtail bridge. You've got your neck single coil, your bridge single coil. It's the same kind of deal. You got your control plate with one volume, one tone, and a three-way switch. You can get that all the way from a very cheap Squire Bullet all the way up to a custom shop American kind of a thing. Again, all boxes ticked. You can't say it's not a Tele because X, Y, or Z, generally speaking. I don't understand why Fender can't get the Jaguar right, because almost every time they release a Jaguar in the, I'm going to call it the entry level Mexican space, there's a problem with it. Okay? Um, and that brings me to this topic that we're talking about today, which is the Player II Jaguar. Now, the Player 1 Jaguar, or just the regular Player Jaguar, I'm actually going to bring that up on the screen right now. There you go. I'm going to make myself a little bit smaller. So if we look over here, you can see that it sort of looks like a Jaguar, right? I mean, you've got your vibrato, you've got your body shape, you've got your, normal looking neck pickup. Uh, but there's some problems with this that makes it not really a Jaguar. First of all, you don't have your really cool Jaguar script up on the headstock, so that kind of sucks. You've got a Faro fingerboard instead of rosewood. You have a humbucker in the bridge, which I would call that a plus, but if you're a purist, that's gonna turn it off for you. But big problem. Where the hell is the rhythm and lead circuit, right? Where the hell are the different volume and tone controls for each pickup? Completely absent. I'm going to switch this over. This is a 62 Fender Jaguar. And when you think of a Fender Jaguar, this is pretty much what you think of, okay? You've got they've clearly upgraded the bridge on this, but everything else about it is pretty much stock, right? You have your lead circuit on the right side, you have your rhythm circuit on the left side. You've got one volume and one tone control. You've got your tailpiece down here with, a bit of space after the bridge, right? And when you look over here at this Player Jaguar, that's all missing. Instead, you get a three-way switch and then a coil split switch. So it's not quite a Jaguar. Lots of caveats going on there, right? So that's what the offering was before. This entry-level Fender. You're the cheapest Fender Jaguar you could buy new was this one. We did on this channel a couple weeks ago, we actually took my Fender Player Jaguar and we added some control plates to it and we made it look more aesthetically like a classic Jaguar. But, it's still not really a classic Jaguar, but it's closer, right? But we still don't have the rhythm circuit, which is a big bummer. So whatever. So I get this email from Fender that says, hey, Player 2, coming now. And usually I'm like, whatever, Fender, you're just going to release the same crap again. It's a Telecaster, it's a Stratocaster, it's a Jazzmaster, it's a whatever. But then I saw there's a Jaguar, and I thought, a Player 2 Jaguar? Are they going to do it right this time? Did they finally do it? Well, before we go look at the new one, I want to show you the old one, okay? So before the current Player Jaguar, there was the classic Player Jaguar, which is here. You notice anything about this? First of all, the headstock is correct, right? We've got our Jaguar script where it should be. Headstock looks good. Body's the right shape. You got your two single coils. You do have what looks kind of like a tune-o-matic bridge. Don't really like that very much. But you have your rhythm and lead circuits. Do you see any problems here? I do. I see a major problem. Look at the distance of the tailpiece to the bridge. Whoops. Yeah. For some reason, Fender, in their infinite wisdom, decided to put the tailpiece and the bridge super close together. I don't really know why they did that, honestly. I can't think of a logical reason. It doesn't cost any less money to put it up there. It's not for aesthetic reasons. There's literally no reason I can think of to why they would have done that. And, well, it doesn't matter. It does, though. I would say one of the things that makes a Jaguar sound the way it does is because when you strike a chord or when you play it, there is audible, kind of a reverb ringing jangle that comes out of that post-bridge taut string, right? And if you make that shorter, you kind of lessen that effect, in my opinion. And so I didn't like that they did this. In fact, I stayed away from this model for that reason. That's why I ended up with this model, okay? I decided, you know what? I like the humbucker. I'll take the caveat of not having a rhythm circuit because at least the bridge is in the right place and the tailpiece is in the right place, okay? I'm going to show you these two quickly in rapid succession so that you can see. Here's the 62 with the normal spacing. Here's the player with the normal spacing, okay? Normal spacing, short spacing. Normal spacing, short spacing. Normal spacing, short spacing. You see that? It's a big, big, big difference. So, Fender announces this new Jaguar, and I was so excited. I was like, oh man, they're going to do it this time, finally. Here it is. This is the Player II Jaguar. Now, right off the bat, okay, the very, 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 very first thing I noticed, that many of you noticed probably, is the color. This is the color that shows up when you go to this product on Fender's website, okay? Coral red. Let's look at the other colors. Halea yellow, aquatone blue, polar white, and sunburst. Sunburst and polar white are, normal. But these three colors are different. Good job, Fender. I'm proud of you for doing that. That's cool. This red is just fantastic. I can't get enough of it. It looks awesome. So that's the first thing I noticed. Second thing I noticed, they did it. They put the Jaguar script back on the headstock. Awesome. The logo's wrong, though. It's that modern logo instead of the one that was on the original Jaguar. So that kind of sucks. They went back to single coils, which I'm okay with. But then the problems start. Okay? In my opinion, this is probably the worst Jaguar that Fender has ever designed and released to the public. And I don't understand it. I really just don't get it, okay? Let's start with the problems. Problem number one. You got two single coils with a three-way switch. What? Is this a Telecaster now? How do you have a Jaguar with two single coils and no rhythm and lead circuit? That makes no sense to me. If this guitar was like $400, I would understand. How much is this guitar? $829.99. Right now, at this moment, for $450 or less, you can buy a classic vibe Jaguar. You know what it has? Two single coils, a rhythm and lead circuit, and proper spacing between the bridge and the tailpiece, which is the next cardinal sin. They did it again. They went back. They fixed it with this one, and then they went back and they screwed it up again. Who is this for? Like, who's going to go spend $830 on this? It's going to be somebody who likes a Jaguar. Well, if they like a Jaguar, they're not going to like this. The color's cool. That's it. The script is cool. Okay, I'll give them that too. But you lost the circuits. That would be like if you made a Stratocaster with no middle positions. You couldn't go between the bridge and middle and neck pickups. They took those out. Or you had a Telecaster and you couldn't have a middle position on that. I don't know how to explain this any better. That's what makes the Jaguar what it is two main things. The rhythm and lead circuit and the jangliness of the guitar by having that tailpiece further away from the bridge. Okay? And it gets even worse. Okay? Let's take a closer look at this. Okay? Look at the bridge. You notice anything about this bridge? I do. This is not a Jaguar bridge either. This is like some Mustang style bridge. A lot of people make that mod. It's a common mod. Okay. Mod. Not stock. Mod. Do that at your own peril and at your own request. It should not come like this. A lot of people, myself included, like the ability of setting the spacing of the strings along the bridge to somewhere that makes more sense for us. Okay? Look up here at the neck pickup. Do you see how it's all the way to the right of this pole piece here? And it's kind of to the left of this pole piece here. Like if you had an adjustable saddle down here, you could pick that string up and put it right where you want it and line it up perfectly. You know? No. So there it is. That's the new Jaguar. There is another thing they did get right on this, I'll give them, is that they put the classic gear tuners on it. I love that. There they are. Classic gear tuners. The best tuners you can get on a guitar, in my opinion. I think they're better than locking. I love them. But swing and a miss by Fender. This guitar really pisses me off. Like I said, Fender, who is this for? $830. For $830, you could go buy a Gibson, a pre-owned one, that will blow this thing away. For $830, you could go get a you could probably go find a used American Jaguar for that. Close to it, right? And it will have the correct switches and the correct positions. For $830, you could go buy a classic Vibe or a vintage modified Squire and save some money. And it'll be a better guitar than this, guarantee it. I don't get it. I really, really don't get it, Fender. I don't. And I made this video today because I saw a post on Facebook and it had, all these new guitars listed. It was an ad. People were commenting like, wow, Fender, you did it. Good job. I can't wait to buy this. And I'm thinking, guys, come on. Get your head out of your butt. Pay attention. This isn't really a Jaguar. It's not. This is something you'd see like from Squire. This is like a Squire Affinity. If there were an Affinity Jaguar, it would literally be this. Seriously. What would be different? You have a three-way instead of your rhythm and lead circuit. Maybe you wouldn't have the classic gear tuners on an Affinity Squire Jaguar, but there it is. I had to say my piece on this while it was hot. I had to say my piece on this while the announcement was fresh. These things don't come out for another month. There's no way Fender's going to change it. It is what it is. I'd be remiss if I did not mention that this comes with a rosewood fingerboard. So good job on that too, I guess. But for $830, guys, no, don't do it. Just don't. If you're thinking about buying this, don't do it. Don't give Fender the money. Don't let them cheap out on us again, just like they do with everything else. Take your money, go buy a classic Vibe or a vintage modified, or if you're lucky, maybe you can find one of those like Japanese Jaguars. They're about the same price as what this is. and they're much better guitars. So, there you go. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Please join the Discord. The link is in the description below. I will be leaving a link for some options for different Jaguars you can buy. Not this one, though. Please don't buy it. So, yeah, sorry if I made you mad, but I had to say it. I love Jaguars. They're my favorite Fenders, and this is not a Jaguar. Thanks again. See you next time. Keep on rocking.